Welcome to the world-famous Engadin Wind event. Like ants, they're spread out over the entire lake, looking for an edge. Working tirelessly and hard toward the same unified goal. All of the sailors want to prove themselves in their quest of one day becoming an Olympic windsurfer. As with everything though, only a few will make it to the top. The iQFOiL class is the new windsurfing class for the Olympics. And with it comes new gear, new racing formats, and most interestingly of all, some fresh new faces and contenders. Athletes utilise a hydrofoil to lift them out of the water, allowing them to go much faster in much less wind. This means that high adrenaline, exciting racing is ensured at almost every event day. Every rider has to use exactly the same gear, which means that the difference on the race scores can only be made by the athlete. At the end of the week, only the top 10 make it into the medal series for a chance at the podium. With 3 different racing formats, the athletes are pushed to the absolute limit of their windsurfing abilities. Slalom is all about speed. Course racing is all about tactics. And the marathon is all about endurance. In this show, we're going to take a closer look at how the new generation of Olympic windsurfers does at the Under-21 World Championships in Silvaplana, Switzerland.
In the end, what we want is to get the top 10 medalists, the top 10 coming into the medal series, the more complete sailors. You have to be good on slalom, you have to be good on course racing, and good in marathon. It's quite unique. We are very different to the other Olympic classes, so that's pretty cool.
Welcome to Silvaplana, a town in the beautiful Engadin Valley in Switzerland. Its natural beauty and landscape make it the perfect place for people who like to spend their time actively in summer. Headlining those activities are of course the water sports, as explained by event organiser Christian Muller.
We have a world famous thermal system up here. We call it the Maloja wind. It's during the whole summer, every day windy, and that's why all the kiters, windsurfers and wingers come up here to that wonderful valley and just enjoy the water sport. I'm organizing that event since 25 years. And it's always an honor to host the best competitions of the world. 3 years in a row, a world championship of the Olympic class.
This year, the Engadin Wind is hosting the Under-21 World Championships. And with over 100 riders coming from more than 20 countries, the fleet was stacked and ready to go. Let's hear from some of them.
My name's Elena Shandera. I'm a Swiss iQFOiler and I'm very happy to be at this event.
Hi, my name is Stanisław Trepczyński, Pol 777, and I'm in the national team. There is a pressure on me, but I think I'll beat it and try my best.
This is my 4th year here now, and it gets better every time.
The backdrop is absolutely unreal. I don't think you can match it anywhere in the world.
Silvaplana, it's I think one of the most beautiful places you can sail.
It's just so stunning here, like the scenery, the backdrop, but also it just feels like there's no resistance on the foil. And it just feels easy here.
It's not all sightseeing and postcards though. These riders came here for a completely different reason.
I feel like I'm here to enjoy it, but I just know the second I'm on the start line I'm going to be competitive as ever, so yeah, we'll see.
Obviously, my end goal in windsurfing is going to the Olympics one day and represent my country, Italy.
My end goal is to go for the gold in Marseille for the Olympics. I wish I can qualify myself for France.
The Silvaplana beach was soon filled with hopes and dreams. Before the riders could get in the water though and fight it out with each other, first they had to go through a rigorous technical check.
Hey Manolo, how are you doing? Hola. We are going to check your equipment. In this event, we select some sailors to check if the equipment is okay or not. Basically the foil, because it's the most important part of the equipment. We pay special attention on the leading edge and the trailing edge. During the inspection, if we find some area that is can be modified or sounded too much, we have a special device to check if it complies with the class rule or not. Sometimes we refuse equipment, not too much, but sometimes we refuse equipment, yes. You was sounded too much, Antonio, so you cannot use this one. Okay? The main goal for me to apply the class rule as much as possible to have a fair competition for everyone.
With the equipment set and ready, it was time to get out on the water. First up, slalom racing. Class manager Gonzalo Costa-Hovel explains.
Yeah, so when we have 5 to 15 knots, we normally do and run the slalom, the sprint slalom. The equipment has been designed in a way that when it's that light, we try to go only downwind. We don't point up, we don't go upwind. So then as well, that enables a wider range of body weight, so we can have heavier guys able to do the Olympic class.
The slalom race is all about speed. The riders first cross the start line together and then head towards the first buoy. After rounding the first buoy, the riders are free to choose their own path downwind until the next buoy. From there, it's 2 times more across the lake and then back in a drag race to the finish line. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first few slalom races. Max Beeman from the UK managed to put himself into an early lead.
Yeah, they went really well. I got a first in the first race and a third in the second. Really happy.
We can chase behind him now in one of his winning races. Max starts down at the lower end of the start line and manages to get to the buoy first. Now he must make the decision about when to jibe, as some of the other riders have already decided to go earlier, above him, trying to follow a gust of wind. Max has stuck to a low line and he has to pump along with the other riders to keep his speed as the wind is slowly dying out. But he seems to be in a commanding position after the next mark, although behind him Daniel Tash has not given up. At this stage, the wind is becoming very patchy on the racecourse, and it's essential that all of the riders stay up on their foils. And now the last jibe around the mark. It is critical that the jibe is clean and that the rider stays on the foil. Daniel Tash launches his last offensive, and it seems like he's gotten a gust and is pumping ahead. Beeman holds his nerve though as he approaches the finish line, and takes one of the race bullets for the day. Due to the thermal nature of the wind, it takes a bit of time to build, which means the mornings are always quite relaxed on the lake. While waiting for the conditions to improve, a lot of the riders take their time and analyse the data from their GPS trackers. Let's learn a little bit about this technology that helps the riders improve.
Yeah, it adds a little pressure because everyone can watch the tracking then, and you can analyze the races after. And yeah, I think it adds a little pressure.
To me, no, it's just a big advantage. If I'm making any mistake after the race, I can always check on the tracker and see. And also, yes, my family members can see me and everyone who are not able to be here. So for me, this is a big plus.
It doesn't bother that much in the race. So yeah, it's comfortable.
It can really help to let this sport become worldwide and everyone can watch us from around the world.
I'm gonna wear it in my impact vest, just right about here. I really want to push it. I was told not to, and so I heard someone pushed it already and it started blinking, so I better not.
And like clockwork, the wind starts to build around midday, and it was time to hit the water again. Next up, the course racing.
Yeah, so course racing, we do it from 9 knots up, and it's obviously the traditional course that most of the other Olympic classes run. So upwind starts. The unique feature of this lake is that we're going to see a lot of guys going on port and some guys going to starboard. Yeah. So that mixes up things, and then it's a very tactical play, so it's going to be really interesting to watch. Here we'll play a lot who can foil tack, right? Here a lot of these kids under 21s are foil tacking, so yeah. Then you have to put like 2 or 3 tacks on this lake. So that tactics strategy, where to put your tacks here, is going to become really important.
Riders have to go up and down the lake twice before finishing. As they do so, they are faced with a choice. Are they going to go to the left or the right side of the lake? Trying to chase the most powerful gusts of wind and gaining an edge over the other competitors. Riders also have to consider traditional sailing right-of-way rules. If you're sailing on starboard, which means with your right hand in front, you have the right-of-way over the sailors sailing on port, which have their left hand in front. This can often lead to chaos at the start, but if you manage to wrangle yourself through it, you get a massive advantage over your competitors. Each race is like a chess game. You have to anticipate the wind and your opponents as best you can to come out on top. Let's watch some of the highlights from the course racing. Are you ready for some excitement?
It was a really amazing day for me. I think it's my best day of racing since a long time, and so I'm really happy. We had really nice conditions, the best since I'm at Silvaplana. Everybody looks to be happy. Everybody had a smile on their face during the races, so it was really nice.
So feeling super good. I'm happy to have won the third race of the day. I hope it will be the same for the other ones coming, but it's good for me, and it's a bit shifty in the water, but super good racing going on.
Not everyone was that excited though. Max Beeman had to give up his event lead to Gaspard Carfantan, who had won all but one race that day.
Oh, it's really tough. The wind's all over the place. So, tactics have been really hard and showed a bit psychologically today as well.
With the rankings all shuffled up, every point counts now as you get closer to establishing that top 10 who will go through to the medal race. Riders can file a protest if they feel they've been disadvantaged by another athlete. A jury will then decide whether point corrections need to be made.
Bit of a collision on the first start, so we're doing a protest right now. The protest is kind of like court. We were starting on port, and the guy below me tagged, and I could not stay clear, so I went straight into the guy below me.
Other guy that was in the incident with me went inside of the nose of my board with the mast, so a part about this big, I would say, of the board came off. We both made it out without damages to ourselves, which I think is the most important part.
Found that the other party, Manolo, the Italian guy, they found that he was in the wrong, and because of the accident that happened and my race was bad, I got a redress of the average point of all the course racing.
Modena's chance to make amends was coming though, as it was now time for the marathon race.
Yeah, so the marathon is a 1 hour race. It's our third format for iQFOiL. Massive starts with full fleets with a rabbit start.
It's a rabbit start, so there's a boat that drives from the pin end to the commit boat, and you have to hook up round it. Makes it a bit more sketchy because you don't want to mess that up, otherwise you're going to have a big incident.
It's a really interesting format. It counts double for us. It counts double, right? So that marathon that counts double, you definitely want to have a good race there because you're going to either make it on the top 10 to enter the medal series, or you're going to be out. So it becomes really important.
In the women's fleet, points were especially tight. A number of athletes fighting their way back up from the bottom and slowly making it into the top 10.
I don't think about be out of the top 10. I will do my best and we'll see.
1 hour, 5 laps of the lake, and a lot of points to play for. Let's go. Davis Mazias made an incredible start among the men and took an early lead in the race.
I had to keep it cool all the time. Manolo was also chasing all the time.
Me and Davis just fighting neck to neck. We came quite close at the upper mark on the last rounding, but on the downwind I just kept following.
Because I knew my strength is downwind and reaching, so I usually got back.
Everything else but me. I'm starting to break out from your grave. See, I finally opened up my eyes.
Yeah, it's good anyways to be recovering a few places. I was in a bad position on the rankings yesterday after a crash in the first race.
Be someone I want to recognize.
Now it's the turn of the women's marathon. In the women's, it was Marion Couturier who stormed off with the lead. She had to exchange it a couple of times with an incredibly on-form Sophia Meyer and Manon Pianaza, but in the end, she managed to hold on to it.
I'm super happy about my day. I won the marathon, I won the first one. The marathon was super tricky. I'm super happy to have raced with the girls. With Manon, we had a super nice fight. And I'm happy to win finally the marathon, yeah.
The medal race groups were now set. As the clouds were pulling into the Engadin Valley, it was time for finals day. On a day where it's all or nothing and each of the athletes in the top 10 can still take the win, they were all greeted with the grim reality of rain, a 10-degree temperature drop and a very gusty, shifty, strong wind.
Well, it will be different than the last days.
I know I can lose, I can also win. I think with the shifty wind it will be really hard.
If there's a good condition, I want to go out.
It will be really tactical and very technical too.
I actually didn't expect to make it in top 3, but here I am.
There are 3 medal races, a quarter-final for positions 4 to 10, a semi-final which sees the 2 best from the quarter-finals advance, plus second and third, and then a final in which number 1 goes up against the 2 people that advance from the semis. One by one, riders were eliminated as we approached the grand final. Standouts in the quarters and semis were the Italian riders Manolo Modena and Sofia Renna, both making it to the grand final, as well as the UK rider Boris Shaw. This is it, the final between Gaspard Carfantan, Manolo Modena and Boris Shaw. Whoever wins this wins the entire event. Modena is ahead at the first mark, but almost touches down. Same for Shaw, it seems like Gaspard has an advantage. Tactics come to the fore now as a jibe has to be made. And it is an excellent move from Gaspard as he pulls into the lead of the race. Now we're on to the upwind leg of the course. Will Shaw or Modena be able to launch a counter-offensive? A textbook foiling tack by Shaw. It could put him back in contention. And another one. Boris Shaw takes the lead. Carfantan decides to split off and follow a gust. Let's see how they fare at the bottom of the course. It is incredibly close as they round the last mark and get onto the reach. This one is for the event. Gaspard takes the win. Incredible, the Frenchman wins the final and becomes the under-21 men's world champion. In the meantime, the women's final is lined up at the top of the racecourse. The wind is strong and gusty, and all of the athletes are struggling to rein in their equipment. Adi Milo has shown the strongest form during this event and takes an early lead. As they start the upwind leg, Sofia Renna manages to take the lead. But look at this. Manon Pianaza has taken a completely different track up the course from the other 2 riders, and as they cross back, it becomes evident that Pianaza's strategy has worked to her benefit, and she rounds the top mark. She's got a commanding lead. She looks back and then reaches the bottom mark and realises all she has to do is keep the board on the foil at this point. She's aced that last jibe and she is on her way to the finish line. The Frenchwoman Manon Pianaza goes over the finish line and becomes the under-21 world champion in the iQFOiL class. Adi Milo, after leading most of the event, has to settle for third.
Yes, I'm feeling really amazing. It was one of the hardest days of racing of my life.
I give my best to climb up all the week, so today I win the race, so yes, I'm happy to win the championship.